Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, Executive Director for Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Prime Time with Bob. And we've been having an ongoing conversation about kind of life during COVID, but also life in spite of COVID, and some good tools you can use to work with your doctor and your healthcare professionals. And the best healthcare professional I know of is Cindy Wariner. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thank you so much for that compliment.
Well,
But I'm just one member of a team. You're on the team. Your doctor's on the team. It's a team.
It is a team, and it's a matter of getting plugged into that team. So during the last couple of months, we've gotten together and kind of talked about some programs that HQI and you all are involved in. And one of them is really focused around what to do with those opiates or those pills that you got 2 years ago when you had the hip surgery and it's still in the cupboard, and what do you do with that? And you've got some programs that you've introduced that really kind of help guide you through that process, right?
Actually, we did, and we've talked about it on previous recordings, but we've updated some of those programs because they seem to be a little bit too long and ask too many questions. And so we have it shortened, and I just really want to encourage you guys. We'll share that link on this recording to please go to how to dispose of your unused opioids and other medications. Obviously, there's a risk to having them around, and you definitely don't want to hurt someone else by just not getting rid of them.
Right. Now, I'm a TV watcher, and it seems like the only thing going on in the entire world, of course, is COVID and the election. But there's more to life than this COVID. Yesterday, I was out and about, and my wife texted me and asked me to pick up some batteries. So I went to one of our drugstores and was going to get batteries and some candy. Well, I saw a sign that says free flu shots. And I figured, you know what? I normally get one about this time, but it's not COVID. So, what the heck? And I was so excited that I got my free flu shot that I forgot to buy the candy. Here's my question for it, which is good for me, right?
Right, that's right.
But I got home and we've talked about that team. And of course, in my life, an important part of that team is my wife. So, okay, you're my healthcare professional that I count on. She asked me a question that I didn't get. Did I get the senior one or the regular one? And I'm thinking, I don't know. I got the one he gave me.
Right. Well, let me just say, first off,
is there a senior one?
There is a senior one, but there's kind of two senior ones.
Oh, come on.
There's a high potency senior one, and then there's an over 65 senior one. But let me just explain, it is just so important this year more than others to get a flu vaccine. Both senior ones have 4 different flu strains in them. They're called quadrivalent vaccines. And that is a good thing. But I know there are some of you probably listening to this right now that say, I don't get the flu shot. I've always gotten sick when I got the flu shot. Mm-hmm. I am here to say you cannot get sick from the flu shot. It is a dead vaccine. There is nothing live in it. It is skeletons of the flu. And we're just finishing up Halloween. So your arm might get a little sore because it got put in the muscle. If you do arm circles, or if you're a baker, stir up some dough. Use your arm afterwards and it will not get sore. If you, in the past, have felt a little draggy or just not your normal self for a couple days after the flu shot, there's probably a good explanation for that. Your body is like a machine. And when you get a vaccine, your immune system goes into high gear to build up antibodies so that when you get exposed to the real live germs, it's already ready to go and it's had a little head start.
Whoa.
So part of the catalysts or the pieces of your body that are needed for that immune system startup, you get a head start.
Okay.
is your B vitamins. So if you're low on your B vitamins, then it's going to make you feel a little draggy. So if you've had that experience in the past, get a B complex vitamin and take it for about a week before you go get your vaccine.
Ah. So when my wife wants to give me that handful of supplements, you're telling me take them.
Well, I didn't say all of them. I just said the B vitamins.
The B.
And you know what? It's easier during the spring and summer and early fall to keep those B levels up because our main food source of B vitamins are those green fruits and vegetables and that. And as we go into winter, sometimes those aren't just as available as they are for the other 3/4 of the year. But Bob, I am so proud of you for getting that flu shot, especially this year. Plus, you probably got to see some people.
Well, yeah, and it was cool because, I mean, we were socially distanced. You know, it's really kind of funny, Cindy, because it is kind of a new norm. You know, you watch these TV shows and they're hugging and they're kissing. And that was pre-COVID. So I'm kind of becoming a little more comfortable with being smart about where I'm at. I mean, there were 3 of us that were in the shot stage. I have a question for you, though. The guy that did my shot is a pharmacist. So after I filled out my form, he went and filled a prescription, then he came back. How did he learn to do a shot? When did that happen? That they can give shots?
Okay, I'm going to date myself, Bob, but I was one of those pharmacists back in 1997 that got the legislature to pass a law that pharmacists could give vaccines so that there would be more outlets and access for people to get the flu vaccine. And since then, I believe it was in around 2009, 2010, it's part of the pharmacy school's curriculum to train pharmacists how to do all the safety checks, do the right procedure, and they actually have to pass that class as a requirement before they can take their pharmacy boards. So they've been trained to help give access. And speaking of access, if you are one of those folks that's worried, even with social distancing, about going into a store, you can call around your area. There are pharmacies that will come out to your car and give you your vaccine in your car. Right. I am so passionate, for obvious reasons, because I care about each and every one of you listening to this. But the flu vaccine this year is even more important than previous years because we have been somewhat isolated and we want to make sure our immune system is warmed up for anything.
Repeat that, because I'm thinking just the opposite, that since I've been kind of really careful where I go, at Prime Plus, we are following every one of the CDC requirements and making sure that people are safe, because the last thing I want to do is put somebody at harm. So we've been really careful about that. I would think of all years that I don't have to worry about getting the flu, this is it. But you're saying it doesn't work that way.
It kind of goes back to what I talked about. Your immune system inside your body is like a little engine. And when it does not get exposed to germs, it doesn't turn on. So yes, it's a good thing that we're following all the rules that we should be, and the suggestions, and developing this new comfort zone with things. But we have not exposed our little immune system engine to the normal germs that we have in the past.
Right.
So that's why I believe it's even more important this year to get that flu vaccine so that that engine is warmed up, so that if and when you might get exposed, gosh, there's germs always, not just COVID germs, but germs in the air. You want your body to have the head start. And that is something that each and every one of you listening to this call can do. Even if it's a drive up, calling ahead, do you guys come out in the parking lot and get the vaccines? It's still allowing you encouragement to go out and to maybe connect with some folks, but also to do something that is really going to help prepare your body for whatever you might need.
See, I think it's a cool way to look at it. And one of the things I've kind of become very sensitive to during this whole COVID time is, unlike things I did to myself that would hurt me, there are things that I can do now that can protect others. And the last thing I want, because I'm not one of those that stays home when I get sick, I'm sorry. So the last thing I want to do is get sick and expose other people, or be the one that's told you got to go stay home for 14 days. So I might as well do what's right, because I know that if I do it for me, it'll help others too. Or it won't
That's
hurt.
exactly right. And getting the flu vaccine, obviously there's exceptions if you're allergic to eggs and things like that, but the majority of us can get the vaccine. Right. Getting the flu vaccine, and I know I'm biased, but trusting your pharmacist to give you the best one that you need and asking them to take care of it does two things. It brings back a little norm, because that's something we used to always do.
And it's one less thing I got to worry about.
Well, and it can be a little happy point for us.
Yep.
We can check something good off our list. How many good things can we check off our list? Or how many, Bob, you mentioned it earlier, just finding some of the joy,
Yeah, because I go through these spurts. I mean, I've been told I'm Mr. Pollyanna, but even Pollyanna had down days. And it's like, sometimes it can be so overwhelming when you get up in the morning and say, oh gosh, another day of having to watch what you do and blah, blah, blah. But especially like with Prime Plus, I can look at, I really miss not having breakfast with a bunch of people, but I can celebrate and find that spark of joy when somebody's coming in to do an exercise class. So it really is how I look at it. So yeah, now, I mean, I felt so good yesterday after my arm was sore, after taking action and getting a flu shot.
Well, and I'll ask you, Bob, did you do arm circles or bake any cookies or push-ups or pull-ups or anything?
That would take the place of the candy I didn't get. I
can just say, anytime you get a shot that goes into your muscle, and the flu shot is one of them, if you just do simple arm circles for about 3 to 5 minutes, it will not get sore.
That's a great way there's always going to be a solution to a problem you can think of.
Right. And that solution can bring a spark of joy and an encouragement to not be hesitant in today's environment to get that flu shot. Please, please get that flu shot.
So now that you've watched this interview, because we're done, time-wise, is click on the link that's part of this and find out how you can get educated and get smart instead of scared, right?
Right. And click on that thumbs up link just so that people know that, yes, you're going to go out and get that flu shot.
There we go. Thanks a lot, Cindy.
All right. Take care, Bob. Thank you.
See you later. Hey,
bye-bye.
Keep in mind, stay safe and stay connected. Thanks a lot.